Hi everyone, this is May and welcome back to my channel Fanitation. So today's video is about the most exciting encounter I've had with James, and I don't think I will ever be able to top this. It is about James' trip to Singapore, which is where I live. In early October 2019, I came across a video on Facebook where Kwan Im was talking about her upcoming trip to Singapore, and she said that she was going to bring James to Singapore. Now, Kwan Im is the CEO of JKN, the company that markets Channel 3 Thai dramas overseas. So James' basic program was that he would be here for the Asian Television Fair for JKN, where he would perform in a little showcase, and then he would also be attending the gala night of the Asian Academy Creative Awards because he was nominated for Best Actor for his role as Asa in Grongam. So for the showcase, I was told that you couldn't purchase tickets to watch James. It was part of the trade fair, and the ticket was something like $500 for 2 days. And you know, I'm a big fan of James, but I'm not paying $500 to see him sing one song on stage. One of the things that I took part in before James' trip was a contest that Channel 3 Thailand ran on Facebook. They asked fans to send in a little write-up about why we liked James as Asa in Grongam. So I wrote a little essay and I submitted it thinking that nothing would come of it. So this contest was a little bit strange because it was for the showcase in Singapore, but it was in Thai for Thai fans, and all of the instructions were in Thai. And surprise, I won. Now, I don't really think it's because I was very imaginative or particularly eloquent in what I wrote about James. It was probably because I was the only person from Singapore who entered the contest. I won one of the top prizes, so the 2 JKN Showcase tickets and the selfie. None of the other winners showed up in Singapore because the prize didn't come with air tickets, so the chances of Thai fans flying down for this event are quite small. So one of the tasks I was given was to try and gather Singapore fans. So we used different platforms on social media to reach out to Singapore fans and to tell them to please contact me if they wanted more details. Now, this was a little tricky. At the time, it was the first time I was doing any sort of admin work for the fandom, and so I just took instructions. If I had to do it again, I would probably try to figure out how to better manage it so that the Singapore fans had more time with James. About 20 over fans contacted me. I don't think this really reflects the number of people who like James in Singapore. I think it was really because we were not allowed to use social media to widely publicize James' trip. So this is one of the tricky things about being in a fandom, that you need to do certain things, but you're given some information, and then you can release this part, but you can't release that part. It's all a little bit tricky and a little bit political. Of course, once I heard confirmation that James was coming to Singapore, I was so excited. My whole life revolved around planning for his trip, you know, taking leave, making logistic arrangements for my friends, contacting all the Singapore fans, and it was really crazy. So since becoming a James fan, I've had a few people in Singapore who have contacted me about certain things, and a few of them have really become quite good friends. I have a friend who runs the James Singapore Instagram page. It's not me. Lots of people thought that I was the admin behind it, but it was not me. So she has become a very good friend of mine, and I remember telling her, oh, you're going to get to meet James, and she was so excited, and then her whole world came crashing down because the dates of his visit clashed with her year-end holidays with her family. So I remember her going through this, you know, rather sad period, and I didn't know what to say to her to make her feel better, but it all works out in the end, as you will see. Another person that I got in contact with is a Myanmar lady who lives in Singapore, and she is a longtime fan of James. Her name is Kind, and I know she loves James, and her favorite character is Nung from Nung Nai Swang. So James arrived in Singapore on the 3rd of December, and with a group of about 8 or 9 fangirls who had come with him, including my 2 friends, Joy and Ingfa. It was really nice for me to meet other fangirls because in my previous trips, I mostly stuck to Jerayu homegirls because I lacked the language to really interact with other fans, and you know, I was still feeling my way around. So this time in Singapore, I got to know a few of them, and it was a really nice experience to meet more people who were so devoted to James. So I get to the airport to meet the other Singapore fans who had turned up. There were other fans who turned up who hadn't contacted me but who had got the information from other sources, you know, in the fandom network. Even my Thai teacher turned up, and I thought it was very nice of her to support my obsession because she had to spend a lot of time in Thai class listening to me talk about James. In the run-up to the visit, I was trying to think of ways to show James a nice welcome when he arrived. And I remembered the little light signs that I'd seen many of my friends carrying when we were in Bangkok. But I couldn't get them made in Singapore at short notice, and I couldn't get them shipped in from, you know, China or Thailand within that short period. So I decided to make my own. I'm quite good with my hands. I like to do a lot of craft. But you know, my family really thought I had completely lost it because I spent an evening in my bedroom sticking LED lights into pieces of foam to make my own light signs. But they turned out really well. They didn't last long. They kind of collapsed by the end of the trip, but they served me well during the trip so that we had these James Jirayu blinking lights when he came out. That's the best I can do because I'm not really a screamer. I'd seen the photographs that the Thai fans had posted on IG when James left Bangkok in the morning. So he was wearing a red sweatshirt, and so it was quite easy to pick him out in the airport. So James comes out looking all cute and casual in his baseball cap. Hello James, hello!
He doesn't believe that you can't come to welcome him.
Why not?
But no, we were here before you got on the plane in Bangkok, okay?
One of the fans got him this beautiful transparent balloon that said "Welcome James G," which he posted on Instagram, so she must have been very happy about that. Now, I'm not part of any of the fan clubs, but because I do a lot of subtitling for James' work, and because of my friendship with Jirayu Home, I was included in the personal itinerary, and I cannot tell you how excited I was. The fangirls who follow him are actually there for work. It may not sound like your normal work. I mean, following James Jirayu around is a lot more fun than many of our jobs, but there is a lot of work involved. They upload all these things so that other fans can see what's happening, all these new pictures of him, videos, etc. So it's actually quite a lot of activity. So the first stop in James' personal trip that we were allowed to go to was to visit the Kwan Im Temple in Waterloo Street. It is a very famous temple in Singapore and very popular with Thai tourists. They bought flowers and joss sticks and candles from the vendors just outside the temple, and it turned out that most of the ladies selling these flowers were Thai. So they had a good chat with James, and of course they were totally wowed by how beautiful he is. After he was done in the temple, he came out and he walked along Waterloo Street to take a look at some of the vendors nearby and the Hindu temple that is next door, and then he gave the fangirls a lot of opportunities to take pictures of him. I mean, many of you would have seen he's a real poser. He can really, you know, dream up 101 poses. So there we were, a small group of us just snapping away at him. My phone has never taken so many pictures at one go. It was very, very hot, and there's no time to even check whether your photographs are okay. You just take 1,000 of them and then hope for the best. And then there were a lot of curious passers-by who stopped to see what this activity was about. And of course, some of them start taking pictures of him even though they have no idea who he is. But there were some people who passed by who did know who he was, so they were very happy to get a picture with him because it was so unexpected. And he spoke to me in English, which I was very thrilled at because, I mean, I could not have a conversation with him in Thai. First of all, my Thai is not that fluent, and second of all, my brain was already not really working very well. My Thai would have totally failed at that point in time.
Yume, let me introduce you to him.
Hello.
She's the one who helped me
Hi, nice to meet you.
to translate your work, nah. Same.
I gave you the same thing for your birthday,
Okay.
but I hope you use it.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Film
Yes, film.
800.
I don't know what they are, but the shop tells me that you can use them.
She actually lived
She helped me translate English subtitle for your work, nah.
So I do the subtitles with Uncle.
ใช่เพราะว่าเฟิร์สทำไม่ได้เลย
Sorry?
No, fine. I'm kidding.
Just joke.
Your Singapore fans really want to meet you.
Really?
Yes.
You know me?
Yes.
How come?
They watch your shows. Yeah, and they've been so excited. So I'm hoping that after the awards on Friday, hopefully you can have a little bit of time for them. They are coming to the award show.
Maybe.
Please try.
I have to ask her.
Yes, I will ask. I will try to persuade Kumbu also.
Are they coming to the fan zone?
Yes, they are coming to the fan
So
zone.
they'll be in the fan zone area.
Yes. Most of them will be in the fan zone. If they're not, they are going to wait till after the show and hopefully meet you.
I think
Yeah. Okay. Yes, they will be so happy. They are really looking forward to seeing you.
His English is actually pretty good. I think he's just a little bit shy about using it. The second stop on our James G Explores Singapore trip was another temple, the Buddha Tooth Relic Temple in Chinatown. James had actually visited it when he was in Singapore on his personal holiday, so he must have liked it quite a lot to take his team there. At the end of it, we all head back to Marina Bay Sands where he was staying. He and his team talk about how they're going to walk to the food court. He bought a banana split. A banana split from a food court in Singapore. I was so devastated. Because of all the wonderful things you could eat in Singapore, a banana split in a food court really is not one of them. On the second day, the 4th of December, James was performing in the JKN Showcase. We walk across from the hotel to the convention center with him, and then when we get to the convention center, he agrees to do another photo shoot, leads us all off to some corner, stands next to some fire emergency escape sign and lets us take pictures. Even with my phone and my very amateurish photo taking skills, I got some really nice shots of him that when I went through that night made my heart melt. I think he was actually trying to get Joy's attention. So she's dealing with her camera and he comes really close to her, but she's not looking at him. But I'm next to Joy and I have my camera on. And so I was the only one who managed to catch this particular picture of him, which is my favorite. I mean, look at how close he got. It was really like he was staring right into my phone. I love this picture so much. I have used it so many times, right? This is like my pride and joy picture. By the end of the trip, I had more than 5,000 pictures in my phone. Because what you do is you just keep clicking because you never know when you'll get a clear shot or you won't get a clear shot. And I'm not a professional photographer, so I cannot imagine how many pictures the fangirls with all their fancy cameras and equipment were taking. The organizers arranged for all the fans who were present to be allowed into the showcase to watch and support James.
I have a song, this drum. How to dig a cry, you want to dieดีเพราะคนที่รอสุดท้ายก็รอรักกันสิ่งใดที่ทำเอาไว้สิ่งนั้นที่เจอบุญนำเพราะทำฉันไรได้ฉันนั้นทุกคนหัวใจเราเป็นสีเทาขาวและดำในบางครั้งทั้งที่เราอยู่ด้วยกันนายกรักมันดอกไม้ทุกการกระทำเมื่อนั้นที่ไหนวันเป็นย้อนไปไม่อาจจะมีให้ห่างไกลในโชคชะตาร้ายหรือดีที่เราพบไม่ถึงเวลาสักวัน ถึงเมื่อไรสักวัน
As part of my prize for writing the little essay about James, I got my selfie, but I actually got a selfie for 2 persons. So I decided to give it to my friend Kine because she's such a big fan. So the 2 of us got our selfies, our really nice selfies with James. After the showcase was done, James got ready to go to the airport because he was flying back to Bangkok that evening. And he changed into this very nice nautical kind of suit. He was doing an interview with a local TV station, Mediacorp. He was interviewed by a Singapore celebrity, Desmond Tan, whom I'd actually never heard of before this because I don't really follow local TV. Sadly, the interview has never surfaced. And then Desmond said, you need to try some Singapore food. So the first dish that he served to James was kaya toast, right? Egg jam toast. And again, I was kind of upset because kaya toast needs to be eaten really hot so that the bread is really crispy. I'm sure it was ice cold by the time they gave it to James because they'd been preparing for the interview for quite a while. And then the second dish that Desmond gave him really made my heart drop because it's something called laksa. It's a coconut-based spicy soup with noodles in it and with turmeric. Again, probably not the best laksa in Singapore, not even close, and probably kind of cold. So James, if you ever come to Singapore again, I will write you a list of things you should eat and where you should eat them. A big crowd had gathered around the cameras, mainly because of Desmond, because of course local audiences would know who Desmond was, even if they don't really know who James was. And I remember this lady standing next to me who looked at him and said, oh, he's so handsome, his nose is so beautiful, it must be fake, must be plastic surgery. So I puffed up my protective mother hen feathers and I turned to this lady and I said, no, actually that's his natural nose. So after the interview, James sat down at front rows with the small group of fangirls and had a nice conversation. We went to buy some proper kaya toast and drinks with him. And I remember he was talking about something to do with dieting and eating right and something called Game Changer, but I could only catch snippets because really my understanding of Thai at the time was significantly lower than it is now. But my friends also told me this is the best time to ask him for whatever you want. So I've been carrying around this Grongkam photo book for the entire trip and I decided to ask him for an autograph. So here's the autograph. If you can see it, it says Pime. And then it's got James G and it's got 2 little hearts. So very happy. So James took some more pictures with some of the Singapore fans before he departed for Bangkok. So this ends the first part of James' trip to Singapore. He flies off to Bangkok and then he flies back in again within a day. And this video is already too long, so I will cover the second half of his trip in part 2. I hope this has been fun for you and that you will come back for my future videos. In the meantime, please take care and stay safe, everyone.